Two names come up repeatedly in this story. HTS, Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, led by Abu Mohammed al-Julani. So who is Julani? Why did he form the HTS? And will he rule Syria now? First things first, Abu Mohammed al-Julani is not even his real name. It's Ahmad Hussein al-Shara. He is Syrian, but was born in Riyadh in 1982. That's where his father worked as an oil engineer. The family went back to Syria in 1989. They settled near Damascus. Not very much is known about his childhood or what he did in Syria. But we know that in the year 2003, Julani moved to Iraq. It was when the United States invaded Iraq, Julani joined the al-Qaeda to resist the US invasion. In 2006, he was arrested by the American forces and imprisoned at Camp Bucca. That's where he met Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the head of the Islamic State. In 2011, Baghdadi sent Julani to Syria. The goal was to set up the al-Nusra Front. By 2012, it became a big fighting force in the country, with links to al-Qaeda and the Islamic State. In 2013, Baghdadi made a sudden announcement. He was cutting ties with the al-Qaeda and expanding into Syria. The plan was to form the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant, or what's popularly known as ISIS. It included taking over the al-Nusra Front. But Julani did not like this plan, so he resisted and pledged allegiance to al-Qaeda. Julani did not want a global caliphate. What he wanted was power within Syria's borders, so that's what he focused on. In 2013, al-Nusra became al-Qaeda's Syrian affiliate, but that did not help. The Syrian war was raging. Rebel factions were all fighting for power, and the al-Qaeda did not do much. That gave al-Nusra very little leverage. So in 2016, Julani broke up with the al-Qaeda. He rebranded his group. It was first called Jabhat Fateh al-Sham. That name did not stick. In 2017, it became the Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, aka the HTS. And their goal was simple, to free Syria from the Assad regime. Soon, HTS became a dominant force in Idlib. It's a northwestern city home to some 4 million people. The HTS controlled it. They even established a civilian front called the Salvation Government, or the SG. The SG ruled like a state. They had a prime minister and government departments. Julani too went through an image makeover. He wanted to shed the al-Qaeda association. So he organized events, talked to the public, even arranged some disaster relief. And now that they have taken over Syria, all that image building will help. The HTS can use it to legitimize its rule. Although there are 3 problems with this. Number one, the HTS is a designated terrorist organization because of their past association with the al-Qaeda. The US, the UK and the United Nations, all of them see the HTS as a terrorist group. In fact, Julani has a bounty on his head, an award of $10 million for his whereabouts. The HTS will want to come to power in Syria, and that means countries will need to talk to them. So the terrorist past won't help. The jihadist tag is a liability. Although some countries are wondering if they should drop it now. The UK, for instance, is looking at removing it from the terror list, removing this group. And other countries could follow, else the HTS could end up becoming another Taliban. Problem number 2, their Islamic dreams. They want to establish a state according to their own interpretation of Islamic law. It's not clear what that means. What is their interpretation of the law? Syria has a multi-ethnic and multi-religious society. Yes, there are Shias and Sunnis, but there are also Christians, Druze and others. Assad and his father cracked down on Islamist groups. They kept them at bay. Now, the HTS has also issued assurances, and they've said that religious and ethnic minorities will be protected in the country. But we'll have to wait and see. And problem number 3 is their track record. They accuse Assad of being authoritarian, but look at their own record. The HTS has done the same, imprisoning critics in Idlib, brutal crackdowns and human rights abuses. Also, they may have led this offensive, but they had support from many other rebel groups. Groups that will now want their pound of flesh. So where does that leave Syria? Can a group with such a troubled past earn legitimacy both at home and abroad? As of now, the questions outnumber the answers. The future of Syria remains uncertain.